Okay, I have a DeWalt leaf blower. Part number is DCBL722 blower. It's 20 volt, uses the 20 volt DeWalt battery, and it's worked great for a couple of years, and all of a sudden it quit. And I know what happened. I left it out in the rain. But it's kind of funny, when I remembered it after the rain shower that night, next morning, I mean, it had a battery in it and everything. I had just put it up just off to the side and forgot about it. It worked. It was blowing fine. I thought, okay, so these things are semi-water resistant, so I'm okay. But then I took it back down about a couple weeks later, and nothing. Let me show you. I've got a 20 volt battery hooked up to a sander here. So doing everything one-handed here. So we know this battery's good. And I'm going to set this down and remove this battery. All right, so I know this is a good battery. You know, I wish DeWalt would work on easier to install and remove these batteries. They seem like it's always you're pushing in the wrong way, or it's not very ergometric. Okay, it's going to take two hands. Hold on. Okay, so here we go, and nothing. It's doesn't work, and I've tried different batteries, and I know this isn't working. And I looked it up, and this is not an uncommon problem, and several people have also admitted they left theirs out in the rain, and that was one of the primary causes I'm hearing. And nobody has, I haven't seen anybody that had good luck at repairing this. You would think it'd be something simple, because you would tend to think these have a simple electronics to them, but apparently there's a solid state board of some type in there, or some kind of some kind of board that if it gets wet and corroded, it doesn't work apparently. So we're going to dig in and see if we can't find a workaround or clean something up, and I'm going to dive into it now. Okay, the first thing we got to do is take the nozzle off, and if you look closely, there's a little unlock symbol with a little square. It's not intuitive of what they want you to do. You would think it's just push it, but that's not it. There's a little gap below it. You got to take a flathead driver, small one, get into that gap and pry it up. It's actually a lever, and it'll come off. Just let you, hopefully you can see that. It's a little lever right here that it's got a catch on the end of this, a little hook. And all we're doing is prying it up to release that hook. You'd have to know that to know what to do. I was pushing on this thing a lot, almost broke it. Okay, just to let you know, I do not have high hopes that this is going to accomplish anything other than to verify that it is totally unfixable. I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm hoping other people have overlooked something, but that's usually not the case. This thing has 1,000 screws. Looks like a Torx head, just a standard T20 or whatever the Torx size is. It's pretty common. Yeah, that's the trigger. I can already feel it moving here. Oh, that's the hold down for the trigger. My goodness. And I may have to get an attachment. Some of these are pretty deep. Now, I have to admit, most of these appliances and devices like this, regardless of the manufacturer, they've gotten real smart. The screws are almost always the exact same length. course, that's to make it easy during manufacturing, but it also makes it easy for us do-it-yourselfers who have to keep up. If each of these was at an optimum length and we had to keep up with it, it'd be hopeless. Okay, you got to take this handle off anyway. The recess hole is narrower than my socket holder, driver holder. And success. I found my drivers the same Torx head. I think it's Torx. I think that's this star shape with the 6 points on it. I believe that's a Torx. T-O-R-X, Torx. And it's a T15 is the size. And I happen to have the driver, and sure enough, there it is. I'm trying to think if you can come up with a way to do it without it, but go ahead and get on Amazon, pay the $5, get your Torx. Another reason to record this, besides being the hero of repairing the DeWalt leaf blower, is in case I do get it working, there's a chance I might be able to put it back together if I review my own video. So I got the housing off, and so this is, the nozzle would have gone here, intake is right here. It's kind of interesting, got this collar screws on the housing there. Just to be sure we didn't loosen something up. Incidentally, here's the blade and the turbine or the multi-blade component, and so it's not jammed or anything. So that's one piece of the puzzle. And just be sure it didn't fix itself while we were dismantling it. Still nothing. So I'm pretty sure it's an electronic issue and not mechanical, which is bad. I can fix mechanical things. Electrical or hit or miss. Okay, so we're gonna pull these two halves apart. I don't think I see any other screws. Yeah, this is the case where you need, oh, you guessed it, there's one more screw here. It helps to get all the screws out to take it apart. All right. Now, the other fear is when you start taking it apart, something falls out, like, oh, here's the trigger and pieces of the trigger. And so I didn't even get a chance to see what it looks like, which is not good. Okay, we're going to get this out of the way. And man, a big flat washer. We may never get this back together. Okay, I'll never understand the electrical color codes. Got a red wire. Usually that means hot, but there's another red wire on this side. Goes to a fuse looking thing and turns yellow. Got these, man, got a whole, like a computer cable coming out of this thing. You'd think they'd just be on and off, I know there's two settings, low speed, high speed. I would hate to think that's the cause of this whole problem, because who uses low speed? You use high speed all the time. Okay. We're just going to see if we can get power to the blower motor. I'm going to actually just short across the switch to bypass all the internal things that could be wrong. So give it some power. Wiring's hooked up. Sure. Okay, it's still not working. It's always a lot of fun. I could use a voltmeter, but I'd get some numbers. I wouldn't know if it's the right numbers. Okay, it's not working. So I'm kind of curious if they didn't work. Again, I think that's a connector. It's not a fuse. I'm assuming 20 volts would not kill me, but it's the amperage, not the volts. I've heard that 100 times. And incidentally, you ever put one of those 9-volt batteries in one of those fly swatter tennis racket looking things? Do not touch that screen. It pops you pretty good, and I was very surprised. Anyway, so I'm disconnecting, taking the power out. Okay, this doesn't look good. I was hoping to show some signs of life. Okay, it's kind of interesting. I took this apart, and there's a lot of corrosion on this spar, the blue wire. And just for fun, we're going to see if this happens to work. Nope. 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 Okay. I'm just assuming the problem is in the switch. But now, let's see what it would take to just put power to the blower here. Although I thought that would have done it. So we got a, wow. Okay, we got a black and red wire. Okay, so the black wire see, here's another one of those connectors. Yeah, they do this at the factory at the last minute to put the whole thing together. So the black wire goes to the blower. Black wire goes to the blower, and we want and this red wire goes to the blower. And so what I'm thinking is, if I were to short this wire to this wire, this red to red, and bypass the switch, the blower will go. You would think. This disconnect here, I'm not sure what that is other than the speed control. Okay, I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to just scrape the wires and see if we can't get a connection here. Alright, I scraped the wires. We'll use these alligator clips to connect them. I put the battery back on. Now this should work. I saw a spark. Nothing turned. It sparked once and then it quit. As if there's a fuse built into this blower. There may be one. I'm going to connect these back. Alright, I don't know what happened, other than a fuse somewhere, but it had to be buried. I know those aren't fuses. The blades have not even tried to turn. Let's try this. No, nothing. Yeah, you can't see it, but the blade, the rotor turns freely, so it's not like it's stuck. Just in case. I got a full charge, but just in case it did something to the battery, I want to try another battery. Well, here's my flashlight. It's smaller, but it's still charged, and it's 20 volts. The difference is I've got this connected. No, I'm watching carefully. I'd appreciate any kind of comment from anybody. This is pretty much a failure. This I don't understand why directly powering 20 volts doesn't run this fan. Oh, there's a screw right here. Hold on. Scared me. Got my fingers all up in a blaze and this thing falls. I didn't see any fuse. If there is one, it's buried in there, and it doesn't do any good to have a buried fuse. I'm assuming these run on full 20 volts. Unless this thing steps it down, which it may. There is a capacitor or resistor component across there, so it might step it down to a lower voltage and I burned it up or whatever just now. Oh yeah, I've got power here. Okay, I'm going to give up. I'm hoping somebody else will have a solution. I'll save this setup with it disassembled in case somebody comes up with a, hey, did you try this idea? And I'll give it a try. But I don't know. They generally don't make things more complicated than they have to be, but it seems like that should have at least run the motor. So maybe the motor's burned up. Maybe that's actually the issue because it got wet. That just now dawned on me that maybe that's why it's not running. It has nothing to do with this switch, which I thought was the problem. Maybe those motors just don't like to get wet at all. Yeah, I give up. If somebody has either a solution or an explanation of why water ruined this DeWalt leaf blower, again, it's the 722, which yeah, the DCBL722 blower, and apparently if they get rained on, they not only won't work, but they will never ever work again. Especially if you investigate like me and disassemble the whole thing. So any explanation from any viewers would be welcome. If there's something else I should try to figure out what the problem is, or if it's even fixable, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Sorry it was a failure. I appreciate any input if anybody's got other ideas.